Good morning, class. This is Dr. Duncan. This is my second video that I'm making for this class, the NAA 100 class that began on July 1st, 2020. I just want to go over a few things with you to make sure that we're still on task with our progress within the class and our assignments, and also just kind of reiterate that we are having clinical next week. The first thing, let me just start with clinical, because clinical is next week, Monday, the 20th, and next week, Wednesday, the 22nd. Those days are mandatory. You cannot pass the class if you don't attend clinical. I know I mentioned it early on, and it's probably written within the context of your Blackboard, but just to reiterate, you need to make arrangements to be here. And you don't have to be here really early, so we will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll get done probably about 3:30 or 4, no later than 4. And we will kind of go over paperwork and different things. If you have not completed your paperwork and emailed that to me, then you'll have to do that day. So you may have a little extra time if you haven't done so. If you can do it and take a picture of it and email it to me and I can print it out here, that's fine. But if you don't have an opportunity to do it, or you didn't do it for whatever reason, we can do it on that day. Please remember to date it for the 1st of July, and we can go over that when we're in class. The other thing is, when you do come for clinical, you want to come into the main entrance on the West Kentucky Community Technical College side, not the president's office side, but the older building. The Anderson Technology Building is what it's called. You want to come in, it's only one entrance that you can come in, and that is the main entrance there. You will see a security guard out front, or a couple of security guards with the cars. You come in that area. Of course, you cannot enter the building without a mask. If you don't have one, they will provide one for you when you present yourself. You can take your temperature at home, or they can take your temperature when you arrive. They have a touchless thermometer, and so they will do that, and they'll ask you to answer 3 or 4 questions about possible exposure to COVID. And then you'll sign in, and you will come upstairs. We're on the 2nd floor. And when you get here, just remain in the hallway until I ask everyone to come in. The classroom is 231. And once you get in the building, just note that there are no water fountains that are working. The ice maker is not working, so I would advise you to bring you some type of a Yeti style container with ice or water or some type of beverage, so you can be hydrated throughout the day. We will provide gloves for you, and if something happens to your mask, we have masks here. So, and if you want to bring your own ink pen to write with, that's fine. Okay, so that is Monday and Wednesday, the 20th and 22nd. It is mandatory. This is the last class this year. And again, it's going to be difficult for me to find a day for you to come in and do clinicals. So please, please, please make sure that you attend those clinicals. If you have extenuating circumstances that you cannot, that is going to be a case by case, but it is mandatory. If you don't show up and you did not tell me or have gotten permission to be excused that day, then it will be counted as a no-show, and that will be an automatic failure. So you must present on Monday and Wednesday, or I must be notified prior to that, so that you won't fail the class. Because you can have an A average and not show up to clinical and not give me any feedback as to what happened, and you can fail it. You don't want to get that far and not be able to be successful in the course. Okay. The other thing is, I will let you go to lunch. So if you want to bring your lunch, you can, and sit at the desk and eat. You can do those things, or you can go and leave. And I usually give you about an hour to go to lunch and to kind of get out of the building and get some fresh air. And you will also have periodical breaks throughout that those 2 days. So I'm pretty flexible about that. I just need you to present yourself. You do not have to wear scrubs. If you have scrubs and you want to wear them, that's fine, but it's not mandatory. Just make sure that what you do wear is comfortable and you're able to bend and do those things that a nurse or nursing assistant would be required to do. The other thing I want to talk about is I'm going to share my screen with you. I want to go back and look at some of the assignments that we've done. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to Blackboard here, and I want to talk about some of the questions that I've gotten from you all about some of the assignments. There were a lot of concern with the not military test, but the abbreviation test. It is pretty much pretty specific and case sensitive. If you skip a space or you wrote in caps or lowercase, then it took it off. And what I need you to do is just email me and let me know, and I'll give you those points back. You may have used a plural where it should have been singular or vice versa. And so we're working to try to correct that. So I appreciate those of you who've already reached out to me, and I've made corrections on some, but not all. So just make sure that you do that. So that will take care of that, and anything else you can ask me in class as it relates to those tests. Now, course content, we know that's where we find everything related to our assignments. I have a lot of questions that were asked about the discussion board. Discussion board you find under course content, and you just click onto the discussion board like so, and you will find like 9 different, like day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so you need to make sure that you answer all of those, because that is how I take your attendance. Here's the thing, the question is, do you have to do it on that day? Preferably yes, but if you don't, I understand that some of you may be working, you have small children, a lot of things going on, so you may not be able to answer it on the day, on day 4 or whatever. But as long as you go back and answer it. I have 14 people in class, so I should have 14 responses. I will go in and read it, and if I need to give you some feedback on some of the specifics that I'm asking, then I will do so. Particularly when we get into the skills, and most of the questions are geared toward the skills, because I really want you to do well on your state test if you take that, or it just kind of helps you have a better understanding. A lot of them I ask you what the critical steps are, and you can find that in your nurse aid guide. And I'm going to stop sharing just for 1 second. There's we call a red book, and actually it is red, but because you're not on campus, you don't get to see the red color. However, let me go back to sharing that. However, you can find this book. I was asked where you find that book, and I'm thinking it's on Getting Started. If you go to your Getting Started page and you scroll down, you will see red book, okay? And that is your testing procedure manual and your study guide. A lot of what we talk about, if you were face-to-face in class, I spent a lot of time in that, because that is how you do your skills. If you click on that PDF, it'll bring you up to this study guide. This is important because some of the questions that I ask you in your discussion questions are, I want to know what the critical steps of that skill is, so, or the critical steps are. So, for instance, making a bed, an unoccupied bed, the first critical step is to raise the bed to the best level for good body mechanics. It is noted by an asterisk. So you see beside the 2, there's an asterisk, okay? And let's see, there is, in a lot of them, you'll see these asterisks. So you really want to pay attention to the to the asterisks or the critical steps, because when you go back and you take your state test, you have to do 70% of the skill right. So if there were 10 steps, you could miss 3 and still pass at a 70%, as long as one of the 3 you missed was not one of the critical steps. So you can have 9 out of 10, which is 90%. But if you miss that one that was a critical step, then you would fail. So it's important that you know your critical steps. And I will discuss that more in detail on next week. Okay? So I'm going to go back to your discussion questions. So again, your discussion board is in your course content. And in your course content, you would go to your discussion board, and go into your discussion board. You can answer the questions. So some of you asked, you know, if you haven't figured it out yet, how can I make a comment? So you would just click on the question like so, and then you would create thread. So you know what the question is, and then you would just create your thread. You would click create thread, and then you would be able to respond. Okay. Okay. And then you would submit it. I'm going to cancel that out. And some of you have posted, like if I wanted to comment on something that this person said, then I would just go ahead and I would just click on their discussion, and I would actually make a comment. And I see a lot of you have done that. And if I have to say anything or give you feedback, I will do so in a reply. It'll be good job, great job, or make sure that you continue to study your steps and use your red book, that type of verbiage you will see. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about in your course content is your test. And let's see. So I think we've all found our test. We know that the military and all of the abbreviations 1, 2, 3, 4 will be due on Sunday the 19th, and it will go away. So if you haven't done those yet, you want to make sure that you go in and you do those. Your exams are typically due on from Wednesday to Wednesday. So today you will have your second exam will be due by 11:59 p.m. And then I will open up your third exam, and it will be due by next Wednesday. And then your final will be the next week. So you have a week. You only get one shot at it, but you have a week to get your exams done. The other thing is, of course, they're all password protected, and I sent you an email. I hope that you all are watching your emails, because that's how I tend to communicate with you. And I usually send a read receipt so that I can say that actually it was delivered to you and you read it. Okay. If you go into lessons, this is another thing. If you go into lessons, you will find pretty much all of the assignment dates and what to do and what not to do. So let's just say we're on, like we went to lesson 1. If you go into lesson 1 and go into that lesson 1 content, then of course you should have found your mini quizzes. Okay, the residence rights, communication, and working. And most of you have done that because you could not do your first exam without doing those. But if you read through here, it kind of tells you the things that I needed you to do. I did not put the password in here because I sent it to you, and I think it may be a little lower in that in this particular lesson. But it tells you all of the things, like when the exam will be open, when it's closed, the abbreviation, passwords, the military test password, and all of those things are in here. Okay. There's also some information from lectures about this particular class. If you just want to peruse through there, you can see those things. Okay. So, and of course, that is going to be in each and every one of your of your lessons. So for lesson 2, you'll see the same thing in that. So in your course content, you have, of course, your lessons and everything in your lessons give you your dates and when things are due. I have tried to make it really simple for you in that your military tests and your abbreviations are all due by a certain deadline. Gave you several weeks to do that, okay? And then your exams are, I give you a week to do it, from week to week to week. So they'll open up on Wednesday morning and they'll close on Wednesday night at 11:59. So you shouldn't have any problems about that. The other question I got about was your videos. So again, in course content, you will see skills, information, and films on demand and how to register. You do not have to register for anything. And I think most of you figured that out, but don't do the join. This one here, you want to do the skills on demand video here. So you would click onto that and it will bring you up to all of the videos that you may want to review in class. And I would recommend that you watch those videos because those videos kind of give you a good demonstration of how to do certain skills. Okay, so again, you will see this one is a complete given a complete or partial bed bath. And so you would just watch that. It's a 14-minute video. You know, take a Saturday afternoon or a Wednesday evening and, you know, take an hour or two and go through some of those videos. I will tell you up front, for your state exam, there are 2 skills that are on every state exam. That's hand washing, so you really need to watch that. And even though I'll demonstrate that again in class for you, hand washing and vital signs. So we'll really hit those really hard. So you kind of want to watch those. So how do you want find other videos? So if you want to say do a bedpan, you would type that in. And of course, I'm on a hotspot, so to have a secure line, so my internet's running a little slow. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So, but if you type that in, it'll take you to whatever skills that, let's see. I'm gonna go back to giving bedpan and see if that would bring up the video that I want you all to see. Not sure what happened there, but that's how you would find it. And I'm going to stop sharing this because I'm not sure what's going on with my internet and I don't want to confuse you all, but that's how you get to those videos. Okay. And that's how you would make sure that you share those things. The other thing is to make sure that we have answered all of your questions in getting ready. I'm going to go back to our course content. So now that you know how to get to your videos and use your Red Book, use that link so that you can watch your videos and kind of go down paying attention to what's critical, and you can kind of see that. And then I'll try to make it make more sense when you get to class. But please don't wait till you get to class to watch those things because then you're going to be behind. Okay, so again, this is just kind of a video that kind of in the middle of your class because we're almost done really with the class, with the exception of doing your exams and your quizzes. And when we get finished, you will hopefully we'll have you to a point where you fully understand what is expected of the nursing assistant. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to tell you in this particular video. The other thing I think I want to tell you is on the course content is to make sure that you put in your study hours. Okay, and I think most of you know how to do that, but of course, and you would find that under your abbreviation, military test, chapter exam, and study guides. Some of you have put in, 16 hours or something. I need you to put in at least 20 hours every time you do that, okay? So when you go to your study hours to document, when you go to lesson 2, you can just give me the number. You don't have to tell me that I spent, this amount of time doing this and on Thursday and then amount of time on Friday. All you have to do is just where the blank is, just put in the hours. If it's 20, put in 20 and then save and submit, okay? That's all you have to do. If not, you're going to, you can write me a letter if you like, but just put in the numbers and that is sufficient, okay? I think that's all that I'm going to talk about today. Just make sure that you understand that next week you should be here and we'll meet each other face to face, and we will have our clinical. Make sure you bring water or bring some ice or something so you can be hydrated. Pen and pencil so you can have your own, or we can have one. We'll have it wiped down for you. Your mask. Let's see, make sure you're here at 9 o'clock. If for some reason you cannot come, or if you're showing any signs or symptoms of COVID, you want to make sure that, that's excusable, but you still need to communicate with me so that I can give you an official excuse not to be here on those days. And I think that is all that I have. If you guys have any questions about anything, make sure that you email me or send me something so that I can answer your questions. Oh, I do want to say, for those of you who are going to take your state exam, make sure now that you know and have put your hands on your social security card. You will need an ID, a photo ID, like a driver's license, and you will need a social security card that has not been laminated, a non-laminated social security card. We cannot let you test without that, okay? So the day that you come for your state test, and I'll go over that in class as well, but I'm giving you a heads up just in case you need to order one. But make sure you have your social and you have your ID. And so that is all that I have for now. I hope that everything is going well with your classes and your quizzes and your exams. I think I'm looking at it. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Just continue to study, continue to apply yourself, and we will meet on next week on Monday. And you guys have a good weekend. Thank you.